Hey, good morning, friends. Today is Monday, April the 7th, 2025, and the time now is 7:47 a.m. So, friends, I want to talk briefly about Liberation Day in the United States, or as Donald Trump declared. My friends, I want to talk about Wednesday, April the 2nd, 2025, which was Liberation Day in the United States, according to Donald Trump. Now, friends, by now I am sure, friends, that you all know about the situation in the United States and the situation between the United States and the rest of the world. So this is no news for you guys. I'm just now making brief comment and also offering or asking questions or answering questions. So forgive me for making this video late. Now, friends, I'm going to start by asking, if Wednesday, April the 2nd, 2025 was Liberation Day in the United States, or Liberation Day for the United States, as Donald Trump declared, then my question is, who are the slave masters to the United States that have occupied or brutalized America, as Donald Trump also declared, for the many years to the point where Donald Trump had to declare liberation for the United States? Now, friends, it is very interesting that Donald Trump, a man who, when he came to power for the second time, when he assumed the office, stated in a speech that he wishes to be remembered as a peacemaker. Donald Trump, however, may have triggered an international crisis, an economic war. It is very interesting, guys. Last Wednesday, once again, April the 2nd, 2025, Liberation Day in the United States, as Donald Trump declared. Donald Trump gave a speech at the White House where many people, okay, dignitaries in his government, okay, basically we are talking in this case about secretaries of the various Trump governmental departments and even other workers from Detroit and others attended the event. And Donald Trump basically spoke declaring that that day, Wednesday, April the 2nd, 2025, was or can be remembered as of now as Liberation Day for the United States. What I saw, okay, and the way I interpreted what I saw is that Donald Trump wanted to present strength for himself and for the United States. However, to me, what he demonstrate weakness of the United States and weakness of himself. He demonstrate fear for himself, fear of the situation in the world, and fear that the United States has. This also prompts question for me, guys. I've asked many times that as much as Donald Trump is stressing the whole idea of America's first and American first, America first, or whatsoever. However, friends, Donald Trump is making decisions that has prompted me to ask, is this man a Manchurian candidate? Is this man an anti-American who is there for some other cause rather than for the United States? Because the situation relating to Donald Trump and the United States, the decisions that he is making, the decisions that Donald Trump have been making are prompting me to ask, is Donald Trump stupid? Is this stupidity? Is this arrogance? Or is this man basically carrying out a policy to unpack the United States, willfully or unwillfully? I don't know, friends. Perhaps you can help me to answer. But Donald Trump, during the speech at the White House, basically rumbled and rumbled and rumbled to the point where he presented to the audience, to the crowd, to the United States, to Americans, to the world, a chart of many countries, basically listing many countries, and the percentage tariff that he's going to be imposing on them. And China basically topped the list with a 34% tariff. He is imposing tariff on the European Union, on Canada. However, last week, the U.S. Senate basically passed a bill. They had a vote to repeal or to take back Donald Trump's tariff against Canada. But this list includes Japan, South Korea, South Africa, Indonesia, and so on. Now, I've been looking at the full list, which has about 50 or more countries. And it is very interesting that I have counted at least 20 African countries on that list. As much as Donald Trump is attacking the world, this is also a big attack on Africa. Now, friends, in terms of the bigger scheme of things, in terms of the geopolitical aspect of this, Donald Trump is imposing tariff on the European Union. What this is to any anti-American forces out there, as I've said many times, Donald Trump is a gift. What Donald Trump is doing is basically unpacking the United States and basically destroying the alliance, okay, the Western alliance that the United States has cultivated and benefited from for how many decades since the Second World War. Donald Trump is imposing tax on South Korea and Japan, about 24% tax, okay, or tariff on Japan. And Japan, in this case, and South Korea are supposed to be the United States and Donald Trump's friends. My question here is, how is it that the United States is supposed to be going to war against China economically or militarily in terms of a hot war when Donald Trump, in this case, is attacking South Korea and Japan economically? Donald Trump imposed tax or tariff on Taiwan, while at the same time the United States have been emphasizing the whole idea of Taiwan's independence, okay, or sovereignty, and that the United States is going to back Taiwan no matter what. My question is, how are you going to start a war with China over Taiwan when you are now attacking Taiwan economically? So it is very interesting. I do believe what Donald Trump is doing, as much as he is making MAGA happy, he is basically unpacking the United States because everything is going to backfire. But what I think Donald Trump is doing with this tariff is an attack on poor, powerless, weaker countries and also the rest of the world. Donald Trump is bullying them. I do believe this tariff that Donald Trump is imposing on the world is a means to destroy the economies of various countries around the world. Powerful countries such as China, Japan, European Union countries, and weaker countries, even the ones in Africa. Destroying these countries' economies, and also once the world economy is totally in collapse, the United States, as much as it's going to be in big trouble, the United States can then come back and offer the solution for the rest of the world as a collective and to the various countries individually. In this case, the United States can get some concessions from them. However, I also believe what Donald Trump is doing is going to prompt many countries to begin to decouple from the United States, to slowly and quietly leave the United States. Donald Trump is also making it possible for BRICS to grow and to become much stronger than it is already, and that it could become in the future. Because what Donald Trump is doing will prompt countries to accept the fact that the United States is not a trusted ally, a trusted friend, a trusted partner, or that the United States is a country that has a very serious problem that if other countries do not decouple from, they are going to destroy themselves. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and he stressed something that I've already known, or an idea which I already had, a belief. He stressed that, or stresses during our conversation, that Donald Trump is the true face, the true representation of the United States, of America, or of Americans, that the United States, America, or Americans would rather see hidden. Donald Trump is America, is Americans, but his behavior is the behavior, the policy, the activities, a strategy of America that America has hidden from the rest of the world for so long. Friends, it is said that in retaliation, China is going to be imposing a 34% tariff of its own on the United States. And other countries are doing the same thing as a retaliation. I don't know how far this is going to go, but Donald Trump may have destroyed the United States economy, Donald Trump may have caused a very serious tension, issues in the United States and around the world. And I do believe that everyone needs to pay attention. Donald Trump referred to Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe in the speech, which prompted me to accept the fact or to say to myself that as much as many are predicting a second civil war in the United States, I do believe the United States is not going to see a second civil war. A second civil war is not coming. It is already here. However, the second civil war in the United States, as of now, it is a cold second civil war, which is being fought in terms of propaganda and information. When and how far would this turn into an all-out hot war is yet to be seen. But I do believe we need to pay attention and be very much ready for the fallout. Now, friends, please tell me what you think, and I really want to know what you think. But friends, I'm going to end here. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, my friends. But most especially and most importantly, friends, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace.